Hello once again, here we are with our Abzan Elves list. The past few weeks I've been trying different sideboard configurations. In the following videos that you're gonna watch, I will show you every time what configuration I had in the sideboard. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's gonna be needed or effective in the matchup that you're gonna see, but I do want you to know what I have every time. The card that I was testing at this point for this match that you're gonna watch is a Gataktik. It's a card that I always loved since my hate base years, back in the days, and I do believe that it is still very useful in Modern. I do understand that it is a counterproductive. It's anti-synergetic with Collected Company as well as Finale and Codes of Calling, but I do believe that Elves can work around this and use the card and the benefits much more than the disadvantages. Take is a card that I thought of because of a Tron, because of Belcher, because of many different combo decks, as well as control. It has many uses. They cannot cast, for example, Supreme Verdict. They cannot cast Prismatic Ending, which is a card that they like, and it's very useful against us. They cannot cast the big Teferi. They can only cast the small Teferi. Jace is useless, and they cannot cast it. So I thought that I should give it a try. This is the configuration. Let's go to our first matchup and see how it goes. So the first match I chose to put in this playlist, it was an interesting one against Respect the Cat, which is a very good modern player. Usually they are playing higher tier modern decks, modern decks. At this point, this is a functional hand. We have 4 lands, which is good. We have Realm Walker, which is our grinding mechanism, Scavenging Ooze to take care of anything important in graveyards and give us life. I see that they're playing Jegantha. This usually means that they are either playing a person having Jegantha as their companion is probably playing Storm or Tron, or post Lurrus ban they are playing a version of a Shadow deck. From my experience so far and knowing this player, how they play, I do believe it's going to be a Shadow deck. So let's go. Blood Crypt, Dragon Rage Channeler, so it's definitely a version of a Shadow deck. Nothing spectacular turn 1, we're just playing our Mana Dog. And I prefer not to play Cavern at this point. It's one of the plays that I do like. Turn 2, we are casting our Realm Walker. They do nothing, so either they're expecting to kill something or to do something at the end of our turn. Another Realm Walker off the top, very good. Dress Down. This is a card that got significantly worse post Lurrus ban. Of course, they cannot leave our Realm Walker on the board. Let me stop here a second. They cannot leave our Realm Walker on the board because it will mean that we'll have a big advantage. We will be able to play off the top of our deck. They kill it. Dragon Rage Channeler is a champion at this point because they are scrying the top of their deck they keep whatever they need on top. So I always try to keep in mind what they are doing whenever they're casting a spell. So let's continue. We cast our second Realm Walker. Grist is exceptionally good in this matchup. I'm very happy to see the Queen. Realm Walker is gone. So as I said, I always check what they're doing. They put Mishra's Bauble in the graveyard, of course, to get Delirium, which means that it's also a card that they didn't need. Vizier at this point is useless. There hasn't been a single match that I beat any grinded decks using the combo version of the deck. So it's actually a card that I'm very happy to sacrifice to Grist in order to kill Dragon Rage Channeler, which is a real threat. It's a flyer, and it fixes the top of the deck. It's turn 5, and we see that they haven't played any more lands, which means that their hand is full of cards that they can play. They have fuel, as I say it. Another Dragon Race Channeler comes. Not good news. And this is the point that I choose to -2 my Grist and kill my creature in order to kill the Dragon Race Channeler. For me, it's a very important thing to do. It's a very important thing to do because I cannot let that card stay on the board. I can fight anything else they have in their deck, even Grixis. We have blockers for days. It's not a problem. They're down to 1 card in their hand, but next turn they can play Grixis. So Elvish Archdruid is a very nice top deck, and we're very happy to see. And we're gonna play. I don't have a reason to keep all my creatures back. I just keep 1 up for a Ragavan attack. The 0 cards in hand. 0 cards in hand for me too, though. And they do have a Grixis in the graveyard that they can cast the next turn. Of course, I cannot let the shadow go through, because it was lethal. So, top deck time. We have to see if we're going to draw anything good with our Collected Company. It was nothing that could beat them, because next turn, Grixis, just the attack from Grixis was killing us. So, let's go to the sideboard. How I am usually sideboarding against this type of decks. Of course, I'm bringing in all my endurances, all the Grists. I bring in Ley Lines of Vitality because the life gain can buy you time to beat them. I'm taking out the combo, at least 2 pieces. Finale and Chords, I'm taking them out because I prefer to have more threats rather than a tutor for my threats. Then I'm shaving a bit the numbers. I'm cutting down a Heritage, probably a Devoted Druid, and an Azuri. And I don't mind playing the 61 cards. I do that a lot. I don't think it affects the deck as much. So we're going to game 2. So, game 2, I play first. This is an okay hand. It doesn't have Ley Line of Vitality, but I will make it work. I have 3 lands, which is very good against the high removal deck. War Master, which can create tokens. Realmwalker, my grinding mechanism, as well as Archdruid. To understand the importance of a Realmwalker, turn 1 the Inquisitioners and they take it because they know that it can do a lot of damage playing the top of our deck. And it's something also they cannot access with Inquisition and Thoughtseize. I could have played Archdruid at this point, but I always prefer to play War Master first. First of all, next turn I can cast Archdruid even through a Drown the Log. And it also creates bodies with the War Master's ability. So unless they kill it now, a War Master is going to create more tokens. And a very nice top deck, Ooze, is a card that we do like to see in this matchup. So we're just playing our Archdruid. That's a dress down that we prefer to see it now than later on. And we're attacking with a War Master. I'm always very careful. I'm not attacking with my Llanowar Elf because I do want to keep it as a blocker in case they dash a Ragavan. So I think that for now it's time for Ooze to shine. So we're playing our Ooze, we're keeping Archdruid mana open. I'm a bit careful, I'm not attacking with War Master here, even though I could. Sorry, the video interrupted. So as I said, at this time I see that terminate my scavenging Ooze, so it is time to actually eat of their graveyard cards they actually need in order to get Delirium. First I let them surveil. So they put in the graveyard a Death Shadow. Gone. We gain life like that. It's definitely gone. Then with the Terminate on the stack, the next targets are gonna be Mishra's Bauble. They only run 4 of. They run 4 of, so they don't have any more artifacts, except of course the engineered explosives. Dress Down, which is an enchantment, and it also helps them make Dragon Race Channeler a 3/3. So we're eating all those cards. I don't mind them having lands, because they have an abundance of them. I do eat sorceries. So right now, Dragon Race Channeler is again a 1/1. But still a problem. So our Archdruid and our Horizon of Canopy is gone. And you see how nicely they play? They played it in their upkeep in order to fix their draw step. I can't say I'm very happy with the way that we're drawing right now. That's fine. I really hope that they will block the Dragon Race Channeler, but they didn't. So we play our Kyrian Ranger. Do you see though how much value we get out of War Master? It creates bodies, tokens that can block, and actually they can also attack. And this is why they have to die. At this point I really hope they would attack. I choose not to crack my Verdant Catacomb because I don't know what I want to get yet. I might want to get black, or I might actually need to get a Dryad Arbor in order to block and bounce. I just keep it there. I have the Avimaya, which also helps me to use it as a forest. And let's go to the next turn. Very nice top deck. I cannot complain at this point. So we play the land. There is no reason to do anything. We're just attacking with Kyrian Ranger and everything, and the rest of the creatures, hoping they will block. They're gonna block. They're gonna get Delirium. I'm waiting for them to block. And then I'm casting Endurance. So the main problem, which is a Dragon Race Channeler, is out of the way. Death Shadow. I still don't need to crack. So Kyrian Ranger in the top of our deck, on the top of our deck. At this point I'm on 22 life and they are on 7. I'm playing the Kyrian and then I'm attacking No, I'm not gonna attack. I'm not gonna attack into a Death Shadow. Another 10, they crack, they have 2 cards in hand. They're casting Expressive Iteration, and they're getting a Croxa from it, which ends up in the graveyard. And there's still no reason for me to crack because I don't know what I want to get. Sorry for this. Because if I had got a Dryad Arbor, I wouldn't be able to cast Grist as I did. Of course, we do cast Grist here. Sacking the token, kill the Death Shadow, and we attack. And I'm bouncing back Kavimaya. Another Dragon Race Channeler. So the opponent is on 2. We do have hope to win this game. Right now we're plusing Grist. We get lucky and we throw another Grist in the graveyard, not so lucky. And we're able to attack. They're trying to destroy this, they're destroying it. We're gonna play our Llanowar Elf. They do have to attack and they're gonna kill our Grist, leaving them exposed to whatever we play. If they played a Kroxa, we have 2 attackers and we would be able to beat them. So right now we just right-click attack. Because we're on 16, they're on 2. There's not much else that they can do. They can kill 1 creature, but they do need to draw double removal. And they do. This is why Dragon Race Channeler is such a good card, and I will keep on saying it every time. So, post-combat, we're going to play Dryad Arbor. It's again, they're on 1. And again, we have 2 attackers for next turn. They have 1 card in hand and 1 Kroxa in the graveyard that they can actually cast next turn. But if they cast Kroxa, they will have to make sure that they won't have Delirium. Otherwise, the Channeler will attack and they will only have 1 blocker left behind. Sorry, again, the computer is a bit slow and laggy, and Modo isn't a program that helps with this. They cast Kroxa, and now we have a company, and we do hope that we can get the 3rd Grist in order to finish the game. We don't. We have a nice endurance on the top of the deck, though. Oops, sorry for this. There's no reason to attack right now. If I attack right now, I'm going to lose 2 cards, and I don't know what's going to happen next turn. If I wait 1 more turn, my chances of winning are higher. Expressive Iteration post-combat, so that they won't trigger a Channeler, and obviously they didn't draw a removal and they concede. And so we go into our 3rd and last game. Okay, 3rd game against Grixis Shadow. The opening hand, sorry, the replay started a bit earlier. It was fine. I do like to keep a lot of lands against them because they have high removal. We have 4 lands. We have Leyline Vitality, which is going to buy us time. Elvish Warmaster, which, as we saw in the previous game, it creates tokens, which are very useful to block, and they're also attackers, as well as Endurance, which is a very important card in the matchup because it resets their graveyard, and Channeler and Kroxa are out of the way. I choose to play a tapped Overgrown Tomb here because I'm not planning on blocking Ragavan. I will take the hit for 1 turn and hope they won't hit something very important off the top of my deck. They hit an Archdruid, which they cannot cast because it needs double green and they only have 1 from the treasure. They do get a mana advantage. They have more mana next turn, but I can not do anything about that. So I see that they don't play anything. They probably have removal. Still, my turn to play is not going to change. I cannot stay back forever. I do have to play my own cards in order to progress my game and my board state. I'm fetching here to thin the deck a bit. If War Master survives, we're going to be in a very good position. But this is something the opponent also knows, and they do not let us have it. I'm not too worried though, because I do have 4 mana and I'm able to cast Endurance as well as Realm Walker. Not both of them at the same time, but I can cast them next turn. They hit our Devoted Druid, which they cast, giving them even more mana. And they have 4 cards in hand and they don't play anything. So this is not very good at this point, but we're not out of this game yet. Another very nice top deck, Collected Company, for future turns. This turn you can either sit back with an Endurance in hand or play Realm Walker. Having 4 cards in their hand, I do believe that they have a lot of removal, so I prefer to play on instant speed, with flash in their turn, in order to make them use their mana, and I can play Realm Walker the next turn, and also have extra lands, maybe to cast the top of my deck. And also Endurance, if I play it in their turn, it will empty their graveyard. It will empty their graveyard even more. More cards out of the graveyard. Expressive Iteration. Getting a Blood Crypt. And the casting Inquisition. At this point I have no other choice than cast my Endurance. And I actually prefer to clean my graveyard because I don't want them to be able to use Drown the Log. They take my Realm Walker. That was a very nice object, by the way, from us, hitting both Collecting Companies. They take the Realm Walker, of course, because they couldn't take Inquisition. I'm pretty sure that I will be able to cast Collected Company, as they don't run any other removal counter spells. Only Drown the Log, and I don't have 4 cards in my graveyard, so I can actually cast it. Here, of course, sorry you didn't see, I had Endurance and Grist. The rest was not as important, and I take them with my company. This time I clean their graveyard. Double removal on our Grist. So, right now they only have 1 card in hand, and it's my turn, so there's no point of passing the turn, so that they will draw another card. I have to fire this Collected Company right now, otherwise I won't get another chance. Which is getting countered. They did have the right card in hand. So, 0 cards in hand, we're playing off the top deck. They're taking Gigantha in their hand. So we draw the Horizon Canopy. We try to draw. We draw another Grist. I'm gonna plus. And I do have to say the opponent did top deck very well. That's not a bad thing to do. Sometimes we top deck very nicely. Because they hit Engineered Explosives. And because of our Devoted Druid, and not only they would be able to, but they won't have that much mana, they were able to cast it on 3 and actually clean our whole board. And I think that this is the point that we actually lose the game. Until then, we had the upper hand and we would be able to outgrind them. From this point on, I'm just trying to see if I could possibly hit another Collected Company. I have already played 2 of my Grists. I have only 1 left. It wasn't easy. and they did have a channeler attacking in the air, unblockable pretty much, because I had to hit the endurances. And whatever they play, if it's a spell instead of sorcery, they're, as you can see, they are casting Inquisition just to fix their top deck. If it's something they don't need, they put it in the graveyard. This is why it's such a great card. I'm not giving up though. I am trying to hit something good. Grixis on its own is not as good, because I have to sacrifice my only creature, and I don't have Dryad Arbor, I have already used it here, in order to kill one of their creatures. Plus, right now they can play whatever they want off the top of their deck. Within reason, of course. I think the most crucial point of the match, of the game, was actually when they were able to draw and cast Engineered Explosives on 3. And this cost us the win.